Good afternoon, Gordana. Glad to see you.
Good afternoon.
I think everyone is gathered, so maybe we will start. So, good afternoon, dear participants of the conference. I am glad that you returned after a short lunch break to the section 3, which is dedicated to periodicals and society groups. Now I saw that all our speakers are here, and I'm glad that we are listeners, and maybe they would like to discuss with us about our reports. So some details about the work in the section. Please write all your questions to the chat box, and we will try to answer after reports. If we will go or run out of the time, then all questions will be answered in the end of the session in the discussion. So I am looking to our speakers, and I ask them to respect the time of regulation, but it's one condition. It is a pity. But we all know that autumn is very nice but dangerous season. So our colleague Teuvo Laitila from Finland has fallen ill and hasn't possibility to participate and read his report. But we all wish him a speedy recovery. So now our conference, our section has only 3 speakers. And now I would like to invite our colleague from Vilnius University Kaunas faculty, Dr. Aušra Kairaitytė-Užupė, who participated in the project Development of Database of Lithuanian Youth Informal Selfish Publisher Newspapers, fanzines, and research on the phenomenon. She organizes and implements digitization activities, creates database of metadata, and administers Lithuanian Youth Culture Digital. So we started this section from youth. Please, Aušra, the screen is yours.
Thank you. I will share my screen in a minute. I hope you can see it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So I will start my presentation from introducing the term fanzine, and I will briefly describe the characteristics of fanzines and how they differ from the official press. Then I will present the sources of my research, and I will show a timeline and a map of Lithuanian fanzines. Finally, I will present the results of comparing some metadata of fanzines of 3 groups, and I will finish with some conclusions. So, what fanzines are? The term fanzine is a combination of 2 English words, fan and magazine. Fanzines can be abbreviated as zines. The term fanzine was coined by Russell Chauvin in October in 1940 and used in a science fiction fanzine. The term was later adopted by other communities. Fanzines are referred as informal youth press. Usually, fanzines are described as non-commercial, non-professional, small circulation magazines, created, published, and distributed by the creators themselves. As Till Triggs emphasized, fanzines have been a significant form of self-expression over 70 years. Talking about distinguishing features of fanzines, In contrast to the official press, zines often do not have the bibliographic data typical for the formal press. The creation, year, place, authors, editors, and etc. sometimes are not indicated at all. It is, for example, it is common to use nicknames instead. The frequency of publications of individual fanzines may be irregular, and for the most part, the creators do not follow the other socially accepted rules, such as rules of official language use, spelling. You can find a lot of curses in the text, writing mistakes, and zines were never edited or proofread. In most occasions, the creators do not intend to follow any layout standards also. Despite that, fanzines stand out for a very colorful variety of content and topics, originality of design, the creativity of their publishers, as well as specific ways for representation, copying, and distribution methods. For better understanding what fanzines are, I will show you some fanzine covers which represent informal youth press. As you can see, fanzines have various pictures, handwritten texts. The authors themselves carry out the layout work. For instance, fantasy and metal music zines creators in many occasions used computer for making the design, while punk zines are more notable for their do-it-yourself approach. Fanzines were written in Lithuanian and English language, and it was really interesting to find out that almost half of Lithuanian metal music fanzines were written not in Lithuanian, but also in English language. I was wondering how that was possible, especially for in the first years of Lithuanian independence, and the respondents noticed that they had really good English teachers. Fanzines were printed on white paper, or sometimes color paper sheets were used. The fanzines research mostly covers socio-cultural, subcultural, and identity discourses. Scholars focus on fanzines as phenomenon of alternative youth culture that opposes the norms and standards of popular culture. Various fanzines are analyzed as a form of idea dissemination for individual subcultural groups, as informal media that shape and represent subcultural identities. For this presentation, I used a few research sources. First of all, about 500 original issues from the Lithuanian fanzine collection stored in the Lithuanian Youth Culture Digital Archive. We called it Jauka, and you can see the Lithuanian zines collection link here. These fanzines were collected and digitized during the Digital Humanities project. Here you can see our project team members. Ethnologists in informatics, programmers, librarians, layout designers, and other specialists did a great job by collecting, scanning, and making layouts and creating the database. In addition, about 300 fanzines were collected from other sources. That is respondents' knowledge of fanzines. Some of them shared their registered lists of known fanzines that had not survived till our days. Also, internet resources such as Press of Darkness, Fantastical Teuvo were used. First fanzines appeared in the early 20th century in the science fiction and fantasy communities in the United States. Later, fanzines expanded into various subcultures all over the world. In Lithuania, similar self-publishing could be found as early as the 70s. For example, Jānis Dauguvietis, who researched Latvian music fanzines published in Riga in the late Soviet period, pointed out that Western music fanzines and Soviet music fanzines were one and the same phenomena. For example, in Lithuania in the late 70s, 6 single-copied issues of the metal music magazine BIN, it means Beat International News, were created. You can see a cover from one of Self-Made magazine in the corner of the slide. Clippings from other magazines were cut and pasted into a school notebook with images of Western beat and other popular music artists, as well as clippings of articles from various foreign magazines in Czech, Polish, German, Russian, and other languages. The glued collages were combined with handwritten illustrations and inscriptions. So-called music magazine BIN was created by one person, Kristupas, and read only by close friends. In Lithuania, fanzines became popular in the beginning of 90s, after the restoration of Lithuanian independence, when the wave of subcultural self-expression spread among young people. Later, the publishing decreased due to new possibilities of communication on the internet. Lithuanian fanzines timeline shows the beginning of fanzines, the most active period of publishing, and the decline of printing self-publishing. The peak of fanzine circulation was in 1994, when nearly 17% of unique issues were created. After that, fanzine publication declined steadily. This timeline does not include data for about 7% of the issues, because during the project we could not determine the exact year of publications, and 21% of fanzine years have been reconstructed. We have reconstructed the years based on the information in the articles, the dates of the events described, music albums, and other fanzines reviews. If it was possible, we asked the creators themselves to specify the year of publication. Meanwhile, the map of Lithuanian fanzines shows that their publication was not only concentrated in big cities, as you can see, but they were created in all Lithuanian counties. For this presentation, I will compare the periodic characteristics of three groups: metal music, punk, and fantasy. The unique number of zines and total number of issues of each group are provided, and although these values are not definitive, as an official youth press was never precisely registered before. I will proceed to discuss the results of analyzing fanzine metadata, including the number of fanzine issues, publication length, and distribution methods. When comparing the ratios of distinct publications on the total number of issues, it becomes apparent that metal and punk zines exhibit comparable publication ratios. By contrast, fantasy zines differ significantly from the other two groups. By contrast, in other words, theoretically speaking, there are 2.5 issues per metal music fanzine, 4 issues per punk zine, and almost 9 issues per fantasy zine. The second chart displays the quantity of issues and distinct publications from three groups. The majority of fanzines published only 1 or 2 issues, with occasional releases of 3 or 6 issues of the same publication. For publishing the publishing stopped for various reasons. According to the respondents, the lack of inspiration to write was a significant factor. Some authors changed names of fanzines, while others experienced financial problems. A majority of fanzines were distributed without charge, with some authors only requesting payment for postage. As a result, the primary expense was for photocopying services. Only a small number of fanzines were published periodically. 6 to 16 unique fanzines in each group had more than 7 issues. For example, The Edge of Time metal music fanzine produced around 16 issues, while Del Che, the punk zine, had approximately 22 issues. Meanwhile, fans of fantasy had different publication preferences compared to other groups. They had fewer zines with only 1 or 2 issues and more zines that had over 7 issues. I counted about 16 of them. For instance, Infospera, a fantasy zine, was published from 1989 until 1987, and it was releasing a total of 47 issues. Another fanzine, Dorado Raganos, was also published regularly until 2017, with 45 editions overall. While studying the number of pages, I used only Lithuanian zine collection data during the project. About 500 scanned fanzines resulted in 10,000 pages. The majority of these pages belong to metal music fanzines. The average number of pages per zine varied from 24 to 50 and occasionally to 88 pages. Most numerous zines were Ad Arma, The Kingdom Come, Ledo Takas, and several others. The length of fanzines depended on their content. For example, metal music fans published quite long and detailed interviews with the musicians, also reviews on new demo recordings and other fanzines that had been released at that time. Fantasy zines were concentrated on original works by amateur authors like short stories, sometimes poetry, science fiction books, reviews, and etc. Meanwhile, punk zines produced fewer pages, instead using more pictures, clippings, handwritten text, and slogans. In this chart, I compared the number of pages in 3 groups, and metal and punk zines tended to have fewer than 10 pages. For instance, around 70 punk issues had less than 10 pages. 40 of them had just 2 pages, like fanzine Del Che, while only 6 fantasy zines had fewer than 10 pages. The figures demonstrate that fantasy and metal music zine writers preferred creating longer zines, while punk zines usually had fewer pages. Before jumping to conclusions, I wanted to pay attention to the main fanzines reproduction methods. In the 90s, zines were mainly reproduced by copying them using the creator's own financial resources. Zine authors often thanked their contributors, typically their parents or relatives, for supporting the copying financially. According to the data, punk fanzines were generally copied using Xerox and were rarely printed by a printing company. On the other hand, metal and particularly fantasy zines were more likely to use services of printing house facilities. And to answer the question about editions or circulation of zines, I should mention that there were printed few zines of 1 issue to 200 or sometimes 500 or even 800 zines per issue. In conclusion, I should notice that Lithuanian fanzines are remarkable for their diverse content, design, and the creativity of their publishers, as well as specific guidelines for reproduction, copying, and distribution. The metadata of fanzines reflects the creator's ideas, values, and worldviews, and represent the identity of Lithuanian subcultures. The analysis of bibliographic characteristics of youth informal press, including zine periodicity and page count, allowed us to identify distinct features of three youth groups. Fantasy zines stand out for their periodicity and ability to reproduce their editions at printing facilities. Metal fanzines excel in the length of their pages. In contrast, punk zines are characterized by irregular publication, a limited number of issues and pages, often reproduced through photocopying. And you can visit the Lithuanian zine collection here. The link does not want to appear, so you can see the link when I used before. And please visit our database and find out more about fanzines that we collected with our team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aušra. Maybe audience has questions to colleague. So maybe everyone is, I hope, thinking about questions. So I would like to ask. It was very interesting to hear about the use newspapers or periodicals from your research time. And how do you think, can we compare these fanzines to pre-war non-print school newspapers? Or can we consider them as continuation of such a phenomenon because there are so many similarities? What do you think, Aušra?
Yes, we can see a lot of similarities self-publishing in the period of pre-war, and we try to concentrate on cultural groups like hippies, metal, punk, and in all the world they are called fanzines. Before that, the term was not used for those publications, but in general it's the same. They have the same similarities in printing, doing photocopying in different ways, and the scientists discuss that topic, and it's very interesting to find some distinctive features and some similarities.
And I think that the content of these periodicals maybe express in the best way this changing society to which our conference is dedicated.
Yeah.
So maybe someone has questions. Aušra, more?
Yes,
please,
I would
Professor.
like thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. I would like only to ask, what are your plans of your group? How are you going? What are your future plans of research? Because you have very interesting material sources.
Yes, we have a lot of plans to continue our research, not collecting only fanzines that are still appearing. Some collectors have a bunch of them in their homes, so we encourage them to share and so we could scan them and publish. But in future, we are planning to collect some other data about festivals, for example, of both subcultural groups that were popular in the 90s, and some other ideas, some posters of the music festivals, and so on. So it's a lot of work to do in the future.
Thank you.
Maybe more questions? So I can't see rising hands. So we will start with the next report. Now we will listen about the theme which is very actual for now, about scholars publishing behavior. And the second report will be presented by two our colleagues, so Professor Aušra Navickienė from Faculty of Communication, Department of Book, Media and Publishing Studies in Vilnius University. Her main areas of research are history and culture of publishing media, book science theory, methodology, manuscripts and printing heritage, and now the scientific publication. And the other co-presenter is Fausta Kepalienė, is assistant professor at the same faculty and the same department. She is doctor in communication and information sciences. So, dear colleagues, the screen is yours, please. Fausta, are you hearing us? Do you hear us? No, I haven't seen. Where is Fausta? Where is our speaker?
I will try to call to her.
Oh,
hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I
Hello.
have a connection problem, but I think it is solved now. So I hope everything will be all right now. Sorry for disturbing.
Everything is okay. You are here and it's okay.
Okay, so now I'll try to share my slides. 1 minute. Do you see my slides?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay, great. Hello once again, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today and give a presentation on the topic, the open access journals and Lithuanian scholars publishing behavior. In this presentation, I will concentrate on the problematics of the use of open access journals as a publishing channel in Lithuania. I will present the theoretical framework and the results of the research study about Lithuanian scholars' open access publishing behavior. Open access has emerged as an alternative to monopoly of scholarly publishers with the aim to liberalize the public access to scientific research outputs. Publishing in a gold journal was the earlier open access model. Later, the other models arrived. The green model, archiving the scholarly publications to repositories, and the hybrid open access model, using the author pays publishing model and author processing charges. These charges are applied to authors to reduce the threats of open access to their revenues from the subscription model. Diamond open access refers to a scholarly publication model in which journals and platforms do not charge fees to either authors or readers. These journals are led by academic communities and is usually academic owned. With the advent of open access journals, two issues have arisen. What percentage of the scholarly journals is open access, and how does this percentage vary among different countries? Are open access papers more highly cited than their subscription-based counterparts? In 2016, the Directory of Open Access Journals listed more than 9,000 fully open access journals. Now, the Directory of Open Access Journals lists almost 20,000 more journals, out of which 67% are Diamond Open Access and do not apply author processing charges. So we see that the number of open access scholarly journals is growing rapidly worldwide. In the Directory of Open Access Journals, there are 96 Lithuanian scholarly journals listed. It is widely acknowledged that publishing in open access journals could ensure great availability of research results and visibility of the research institutions and the scholars themselves. According to authors, open access articles receive 18% more citations than the average article. However, scholars do not use open access journals as a channel for publishing as it would be expected. Talking about the situation in Lithuania, the development of commercial academic publishing in Lithuania has not taken place. This is due to certain historical circumstances and the peculiarities of the small market. Therefore, the main scholarly publishers in Lithuania are universities and scientific research institutes. They publish scholarly journals mainly as Diamond Open Access. However, when submitting articles to foreign scholarly journals, Lithuanian scholars have more alternatives and must choose whether to submit their article to subscription-based access, open access, or hybrid access journals. Thus, the aim of our paper is to analyze various factors that influence the choice of journal Lithuanian scholars select. To achieve our research aim, we employ the theory of planned behavior. It has been widely applied to the analysis of various types of behavior. For example, health-related and risky behavior, information-related, and other types of behavior. It is based on a rational understanding of human behavior and presumes that an individual behaves in a specific situation in accordance with their intention. The intention shows the extent to which an individual is motivated and determined to do certain actions. In general, the stronger the intention, the more likely it is that the individual will act accordingly. So, intention is the most important prognostic dimension of behavior. This theory of planned behavior allows us to identify the most important issues related to Lithuanian researchers' open access publishing behavior. These include the researchers' opinion about open access journals, social pressure to publish in them, and the availability of such resources as knowledge, skills, and finances. Applying the theory of planned behavior model, we can identify the possible relationship between these factors and the intention to publish in open access journals. The model of the theory of planned behavior, as you can see in the scheme on the slide, is based on the interaction of several components. Attitudes, norms, and control affect the behavioral intention, and the latter influences behavior itself. In this case, attitudes can be understood as the Lithuanian scholars' approach to publishing in open access journals. Perceived norms are the scholars' perception of social pressure to engage in open access publishing, while perceived control allows to assess the extent to which scholars can control his or her publishing behavior under certain possibilities and resources. So, according to the theory of planned behavior, we can define the open access publishing behavior, and it can be defined as the intensity of the researcher's intention to use open access as a publishing channel under certain conditions. So, in our study, we raised three main research questions. To what extent do attitudes, norms, and controls affect the intention of Lithuanian researchers to submit articles to open access scholarly journals? How are the past publishing behavior and professional demographic characteristics related to the intention of Lithuanian researchers to submit articles to open access scholarly journals? And finally, which factors mentioned here have the strongest influence? The study was carried out using the research method of the questionnaire survey. The obtained data was analyzed using the research method of statistical analysis, correlation. The respondents were Lithuanian researchers who have a doctoral degree and work in one of Lithuanian state universities or one of state research institutes. We distributed the questionnaire by email and got 545 fully answered questionnaires. We divided respondents into groups, the ones who represent STEM sciences and the ones who represent SSH sciences. The distribution of research study participants by scientific field and sex was fairly even. The largest share of respondents by age was researchers aged 40-49. And now we come to the results of the survey. Firstly, we asked respondents if they use open access scholarly journals as a source of scholarly information. And we found that open access scholarly journals are very frequently used as sources of information and data by most, 73% of the respondents. We also asked if respondents are familiar with license agreements that they signed with the publishers, if they are aware of the Creative Commons licenses or have used Directory of Open Access Journals, and if they are interested in open access journals and actively search information about it. Most, 75% of the respondents, indicated that they are interested in publishing in open access journals. However, not all respondents have knowledge about issues related to open access journal publishing. Only a third of them indicated that they know what Creative Commons licenses are, and just over a third are familiar with the content of the license agreements that they have signed with publishers. In our research, we also analyzed past open access publishing behavior of the respondents, and we have found that 72% of the respondents published at least one article in an open access scholarly journal in the last 3 years. 34% of all respondents had published articles in Lithuanian open access scholarly journals and 55% in foreign open access journals. Our research has also revealed that in the last 3 years, 30% more STEM than SSH researchers have published in foreign open access journals. We also asked what are Lithuanian scholars' attitudes towards publishing in open access journals. The distribution of responses shows that researchers' views on the submission of scholarly articles to open access journals are favorable and more positive than negative. The strongest positive opinion among researchers about publishing articles in open access journals is that it ensures a high readership and citation rate. We also asked the respondents how they do understand the social pressure and various norms to publish articles in open access scholarly journals. 55% believe that they are expected to submit articles to open access journals. And 52% respondents said that most of the researchers they know submit research articles to open access journals. The other important component of the theory of planned behavior is perceived control. Therefore, we try to understand if Lithuanian scholars face the barriers that prevent them from publishing in open access journals, and if they face, what those barriers are. Most 85% of the respondents claim that they can decide themselves whether to submit a scholarly article to open access journal. Also, most 78% of the respondents felt that they could do so with confidence, and 70% of them claimed that they could do it without major obstacles. By asking respondents what they perceive to be the main barriers to submitting an article to an open access scholarly journal, this study also seeks to identify the main limitations of doing it. More than half of the respondents, 57%, indicated that the main obstacle they face when submitting articles to open access journals is the lack of financial support to cover the article processing fee. For a third of the respondents, the lack of open access journals with a high citation rate in the field they represent is a barrier. Respondents also indicated other obstacles that were not included in the list. The respondents cited the lack of a prestigious open access scholarly journal appropriate to the research topic as a barrier to publishing in open access journals. For few respondents, formal requirements for attestation and reporting of project funding are a barrier to publishing in open access journals. Other obstacles cited by individual respondents include the fact that it is simply not possible to choose a subscription-based scholarly journal because almost all Lithuanian journals are open access. Some researchers also pointed to a lack of knowledge about open access as a barrier. Moreover, a few respondents believe that open access journals are of a lower quality than subscription-based journals, and therefore they do not publish in it. In our study, we also asked about the Lithuanian scholars' intention to submit article to open access journal in the next 18 months. More than half, 66% of researchers stated that they intend to submit research articles to open access journals in the next 18 months. Only 15% of the respondents indicated that they have no intention to do so in the future, while 19% were undecided. So, what are the main factors that influence Lithuanian researchers' intention to publish articles in open access journals? As the relationship between perceived norms and intention is strongest, positive average, the most significant influence on the intention of Lithuanian researchers to publish in open access journals in the future seems to be the impact of various norms and formal requirements for publishing scientific outputs. The other factors, such as attitudes and perceived control, also impact scholars' intention to publish their articles in open access journals, but the influence is less significant. The study also shows that researchers' past publishing behavior is also important. The more researchers have published in open access journals in the last 3 years, the more likely they are to continue to do so in the future. So now we come to the conclusions. For Lithuanian scholars, various requirements are the most motivating factor for publishing articles in open access journals. These norms are established by national legislation, institutional documents, and most importantly, by the requirements for scientists' attestation. In other words, the most important factor for Lithuanian scholars when choosing scholarly journal is a question of the extent to which the journal fulfills the requirements for attestation, and to what extent publishing in the journal will help advance one's scientific career. Even though researchers support and endorse the idea of open access, the practical aspects are most important. Submitting a scholarly article to a journal is primarily defined by the need to publish in a relevant, prestigious journal, regardless of its access. The conditions in Lithuania are favorable for open access, as almost all Lithuanian scholarly journals are diamond open access. However, there is a lack of motivational support for Lithuanian scholars to publish in foreign gold open access journals. Our study showed that the biggest limitation is the lack of sufficient funding to publish in foreign gold open access journals. Also, scholars could be more encouraged to publish in open access by linking it to attestation and better opportunities for career advancement. And now, a larger proportion of Lithuanian researchers do not associate open access with increased career opportunities, the possibility to be more established in the academic community, or to have more favorable attitude towards their research funding. Overall, Lithuanian researchers' positive opinion, perceived norms, positive experience, and belief in their ability to submit articles to open access journals indicate a strong intention to support open access publishing. However, this intention not always transfers into actual publishing behavior due to an uncertainty about academic benefits of such an action and a lack of financial support. So that is it, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Fausta, very much. It was very interesting to hear about this behavior and all statistics. And I would like to ask Professor Aušra, maybe she would like to add something to this report.
Thank you, Rima. Today, Fausta plays the violin first, so I'm very happy.
Thank you. So maybe colleagues have questions for Fausta. And while you are thinking about the questions, so I would like to ask, Fausta, you mentioned that there are difference in behavior between science and humanitarians. Yes, so maybe you can tell us about these behavior differences more detailed.
The most interesting finding of our study was that SSH researchers have more positive opinion about open access journals than STEM researchers. So it was quite a surprise because innovations are more interesting usually for STEM researchers, but open access more supporting researchers are SSH researchers. So it was the one finding, and the other one is the one I mentioned that the same as in other countries, STEM researchers publish more in foreign journals than SSH students, than SSH researchers, and SSH researchers tend to publish more in national journals, and maybe that is why they are more they have more positive attitudes about open access, because they usually publish in national open access journals, and almost all of them are diamond open access. So maybe that is why why it is so.
Thank you. And how do you think, is it connected with the project activities? Because writing a tender and obligations, something to publish, is it connected, or you don't ask about such things?
Well, we asked about how publishing in open access is related to the possibility to get funding for research projects, but scholars do not see any link between this. They do not see any link between this, and there was not, but however, there is a requirement to publish in open access journals to get funding in Lithuania also, and there is a barrier to publish in hybrid open access journals because usually funds do not support publishing in hybrid open access journals, just diamond or gold open access. Yes, but also if researcher is publishing in subscription-based open access journal, they can make access to it through green open access, so through repository. So there are two ways to publish in open diamond or gold open access, or to publish in a subscription-based journal and then to put the article into repository. So some of the funds allows these two ways usually. So still researcher has opportunity to choose.
Okay, thank you. I hope that there will be more opportunities than now we have, and I think this is very actual for various countries. So thank you, dear colleagues, dear Fausta, dear Professor Aušra, and I think that we will discuss all the things a little bit later, and we will wait for publications in our scholarly issue of Knygotyra, and it will be published. And now I would like to invite to present a report our colleague from University of Belgrade, Associate Professor at the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Philology, Associate Professor Gordana Djokovic. The screen is yours, dear colleague.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me because I have some.
So we have all troubles too. Maybe the internet connection, it's not very stable. Because we see you but don't hear anything. Is it
Can you hear me?
Yes, now here, but is it Wi-Fi or stable connection?
Yes, I can see that.
Yes. Maybe it is possible to connect to stable Wi-Fi, to stable internet, not Wi-Fi.
I only have Wi-Fi.
So, but maybe we will try. At the moment, we hear you. So please share your slides.
You can hear me.
Yes.
I can try to share my slides.
Yes.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope that you can hear that you can see my slides.
Yes,
and,
thank you. Mm-hmm.
I can say you can hear me. Yes. Okay. My topic is very similar.
I guess it would be better if colleague will turn off her camera, so her internet would be better.
Yes. Dear Gordana, maybe you can again start again because we don't hear you. Raminta, ar jūs girdite? Nes pas mane
Ne,
nei
aš taip pat negirdžiu ir būtų geriau, jeigu kolegė išsijungtų savo kamerą, tuomet galbūt tas ryšys būtų truputėlį geresnis ir mes visi girdėtume ją.
Dear Gordana, maybe you can turn off your camera. Maybe the connection will be better without camera. Only slides. Is it possible to make? So, dear colleagues, we have some technical problems. So, as we have a time till the ending of the session, so we will wait for our colleague Gordana. Maybe she will connect to us. But we have a possibility to talk about reports we heard in the section. I saw that there are our colleagues from different libraries, so maybe they have questions for Fausta. Oh, now and Gordana appears again. So we will turn cameras and we're waiting for your share of slides. Gordana, do you hear us?
Oh, again, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, now, yes. So
Let's
please, please share your slides.
Can we try again?
Yes,
I apologize for everything.
Yes, and
I will try again and turn off my camera first.
Yes, please.
Yes. I can try to speak, but I don't know if you can hear me because I can hear you.
Yes, now we can see your slides and we are here.
Okay.
So, please.
Okay. Like I said before, the topic is very similar to the previous one, and the introduction part is very similar, but my topic referred to the whole country, but only to the University of Belgrade situation about public access and the publishing in that field. And the previous presentation was very interesting for me, and I got some ideas for the next research, and it is very inspiring. So I start with my presentation. I will talk about open access at University of Belgrade and open access policy, and about publishing academic activities only in the field of social and humanities, because there are many faculties in our university, and I'm limiting at the faculty in the field of social and humanities. With the advent of the internet, the number of scientific information in digital form and open access increased, which led to an increase in the speed of information flow and the change in communication channels. Scientific monographs, which used to be the primary carriers of scientific information, are being replaced by scientific journals. Open access represents free, unlimited, online access to scientific works, academic articles, books, and dissertations. It arose out of the reaction of scientists to the monopoly of publishers to publish research results in journals that require a subscription. According to Filipe Matutinovic, open access implies that every user who has access to the internet everywhere in the world has the right to read, download, save, print, and use the digital content of works published in open access, with the only obligation to cite them correctly. Open access was defined for the first time in the Budapest Declaration in 2002, which aims to make scientific research text with authors provide without any comprehension to readers and publishers, publicity available. The initiative came to life thanks to the support of encouragement of numerous universities, libraries, open access in the minds to advance their goals. As one of the means for improving open access, the Budapest Declaration recommends greater use of institutional repositories with fully open access to content filled by self-achieving. The Budapest Declaration also recommends the launch of a new generation of electronic journals with a completely open and free access to all content. The Budapest Declaration was followed by the Berlin Declaration on open access to knowledge in the sciences of humanities, signed on October 22, 2003. The University of Belgrade is the first from Serbia that supported and signed the Berlin Declaration. By signing the Berlin Declaration, interest was expressed in the further promotion of open access, which can be achieved by encouraging researchers to publish works according to the principles of open and in equal evaluation of publication in open access and traditional printed publication. The Berlin Declaration has been signed by a total of 674 universities and scientific institutions from all over the world, including 7 based in the Republic of Serbia. After the University of Belgrade, the Berlin Declaration was signed by the main scientific institutions in our country: University of Niš, Serbian Academy of Arts, University of Novi Sad, University of Kragujevac, University of Arts in Belgrade, and State University of Novi Pazar. There are 2 possibilities for publishing scientific works in open access. Self-achieved papers in institutional repositories with open access and publishing in open access journals. In accordance with the principles of the Budapest Open Access Initiative and Berlin Declaration, the University of Belgrade promotes publishing in open access journals as well as self-achieving of scientific works in institutional repositories with open access. The University of Belgrade has 31 faculties organized into 4 groups of faculties: social and humanities, medical sciences, natural and mathematical sciences, and technical and technological sciences. All faculties have a developed publishing activity, both of scientific monographs and textbooks, as well as a large number of scientific journal titles. Open access and increased visibility contribute to the increase in citations and influence of the author themselves, but also of the institutions where the authors are employed. Faculty within the University of Belgrade are increasingly deciding to completely replace the traditional printed publications of scientific journals with open access publishing. The paper will present an analysis of the publishing production of the University of Belgrade in the field of social and humanity sciences. The results of the analysis will show us the total number of journals titles published in open access, as well as the platform used for publications. At the University of Belgrade, within the group of social and humanities, there are 10 faculties. As you can see on the slides, this is the names: Faculty of Economics, Faculty of Orthodox Theology, Faculty of Security Studies, Faculty of Special Education, Rehabilitation, Faculty of Political Sciences, Faculty of Sports and Physical Education, and Faculty of Philosophy and Faculty of Philology. All faculties have richly developed publishing activities. In order to analyze all the titles of scientific journals published by the mentioned faculties, we started from the list of categorized journals titles, which is prepared by the Ministry of Education of the Republic of Serbia on an annual basis based on bibliometric analysis. By reviewing the list of categorized journals, we came to a list of all academic journals published by the mentioned faculties. Their total number is 46. Looking at the list of journals, we can conclude that the largest number of scientific journals is published at the Faculty of Philology, where I am also employed, and amounts to 15 journal titles. The Faculty of Philosophy publishes 13 titles of scientific journals, and the Faculty of Political Sciences 6, the Faculty of Economics 3, and etc. All journals are on the list of categorized journals and are arranged in different categories based on bibliometric analysis, which is the ranking the journals. Scientific journals are categorized in the following categories. M23 is an international journal. M24 is a national journal of international importance. M15 is a top journal of national importance. M52 is a prominent national journal. M53 is a national journal, and M54 is domestic scientific journal that is categorized for the first time. The top domestic categories often do not match the rank of a scientific journal in the Web of Science or Scopus citation database. Some domestic scientific journals have a higher category in these influential citation databases than in the national categorization. This is one of the reasons why publishers of scientific journals often adjust their editorial policies and choose to meet the requirements required of them for inclusion and ranking in the Web of Science and Scopus citation indexes. One of the conclusions that publishers want to fulfill in the publications of journals in complete awareness of scientific researchers has increased, that the visibility of scientific results and their citation is the main prerequisite for promoting the higher scientific positions, the advancement of universities, and approval of international scientific projects. I don't know that you can hear me. Can you confirm me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can
are hearing
hear
you.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you. In this regard, faculties and as publishers of scientific journals have started to raise their quality and according with their registration and inclusion in citation databases. The most relevant and recognized in our country are the Web of Science and Scopus citation databases. Editors' awareness of adding a DOI tag to each individual scientific papers has also increased. The DOI mark contributes to increasing visibility and represents unique alphanumeric string that is assigned to an individual object in digital form and connects the users with the digital version of the document on the internet. In the paper, in addition to the total number of scientific journals, we try to present the titles of journals that are published in completely open access, the titles that are editing in open journal systems where individual journals titles are referenced, as well as whether journals articles are equipped with DOI marks. A better insight into the results and a more realistic picture of the state of publication of scientific journals in the field of social and humanities at the University of Belgrade, we presented the results in a table. In the first table that you can see on the slide, we can see the total number of categorized journals whose publishers are the mentioned. As we have already said, the largest number of journals is published at the Faculty of Philology and the Faculty of Philosophy. In the second table, we can see how many journals are available in open access. We can notice that a large number of journals are available. The assumption was that a larger number
Gordana, you disappeared for a moment. We're waiting for you. Gordana, are you here? Do you hear us? Gordana? Gordana, we see your mouse on the screen, but don't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Yes, again, so please speak
Again.
faster. Okay.
Okay.
We hear you. Okay.
I will analyze this table, this second table, where we can see how many journals are available in open access. And we can notice that a large number of journals are available. And the assumption was that a larger number of journals use the Open Journal System platform for editing. But this research showed that the platform is represented only in the editions of the Faculty of Philology. Publishers are not sufficiently aware that this free platform facilitates the process of editing and later categorization and including them in leading citation databases. In the third table, we wanted to check whether the articles in these journals were equipped with DOI numbers, and it turned out that a large number of journals assigned DOI to their articles. And finally, we selected data on the number of journals referenced in the Web of Science and Scopus citation indexes. Only, this is very disappointing, only one journal published by the Faculty of Philosophy is represented in Web of Science. It's the journal named Zograf, and the journal Italica Belgradense published by the Faculty of Philology is on the SC list of Web of Science. You can see that only 3 journal titles are referenced in Scopus citation database, and 1 from the Faculty of Economics, that is journals ASP Today, 1 from the Faculty of Political Sciences, the name of the journal is Journal of Regional Security, and 1 from the Faculty of Special Education Rehabilitation with the same title, Special Education and Rehabilitations. The results are very bad, and I hope that they will be better later in the next years. And for the conclusion, open access and rapid exchange of scientific information is an imperative for scientific and academic publishing everywhere in the world. Thanks to open and fast access to data, the exchange of scientific information increases, which has a positive effect and contributes to the better dissemination, visibility, and evaluation of scientific informations. Thank
Yeah, Gordana, you disappeared again. So we will wait for a minute. And maybe you will end the conclusion. So maybe colleagues, we will thank for our colleague in Belgrade, and I think that we in some way overcame the technical obstacles, and they didn't stop us from listening to a very interesting presentation, and it was possibility to compare practices in Lithuania and in one of Serbia universities. And it was very interesting to hear how many magazines they have in different faculties. But the situation with the databases and citation is maybe similar. And maybe we can wish luck for all of us in the scientific publishing. So, colleagues, we have a little bit time till discussion. It is a pity, but I can't see if Gordana is connected to us now. Maybe colleagues from technical service will help me. Is Gordana with us?
At the moment, I can't see her in the list of participants.
Yes, she isn't there.
Thank you. What to do? I hope that she will prepare the article for Knygotyra too. And it is a pity, but we have a possibility to ask her some questions and how everything looks from her perspective when I think about comparison of our behavior in scholarly publishing. So our session at end. Thank you everyone for listening, for taking part in this section. And now I received a message from organizers that the discussion will be straight, the ending of conference of this day and discussion will happen now without a break. So I ask you kindly to stay here and wait for colleagues from the other sections. So thank you everyone for reports, for listening, and now we are waiting you in discussion. Thank you.
Rima, gali prisijungti šiek tiek. Matau, kad jūs jau dabar.
Taip, ką tik paprašiau visų likti ir kad laukiame jūsų prisijungiant.
Tai gerai, mes irgi pasakėme savo sekcijai, kad jau galime prisijungti, sakykime. Tai dabar reikia todėl galbūt luktelt, kol mūsų dar kolegos ateis. Tai tada luktelkim, svarbu būtų sulaukti moderatorių. Wait for the moderators of the sections.
Yeah, okay, just to let you know that I see that people from the section 4 are joining, so we can wait for 5 more minutes and then go ahead with final discussion for today.
Dear colleagues, as now we have Gordana with us, I would like to thank her for the report. Technical problems are technical problems, what to do, and it's only a pity that we haven't possibility to ask you some questions, as we now are waiting for the discussion of the end of the day. But maybe we will talk about and we will wait for your article for Knygotyra. So Gordana, yes. So thank you very much. It was very interesting to listen all your data and to compare the behavior of our scientists and scholarly publishing in our university. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that we have a time from to join us to join this discussion field from the third section. We discussion about statistic problems. In this main discussion, we will talk about this day's 4 sections. And I need to ask one question, because we talk about historian situation, our day situation, and one is the question is maybe discussion: what is the future of periodical in small European nations? Globalization is different. We are from small nations, all of us. And what is the perspective? How you think? How you look in historical situation and in our day situation? Because who wants to answer our discussion? To start about this question, maybe one is the question in this discussion would be, can be. I saw Rima, it was from topic about historical field, was how in Estonia you saw the future of Estonian publishing of periodicals. Please.
Well, how do I see? First of all, for Estonian researchers, it is, as was also meant by Fausta Kepalienė, to publish scientific articles. It is need for attestation scientists, and it depends quite a lot the category of publication where you can or want to print your article. But I think the publication possibilities are not bad at all. It depends a lot of scientists where and how they want to publish. Perhaps Haile is of another point of view, I don't know.
Thanks. I saw our guest from Serbia. Gordana, you may introduce how you saw in Serbia situation. We don't know a lot of Lithuania, Estonia, the Baltic states. Know a lot of the more than. Let's see. Zoran, if you would me to introduce your view of.
Yeah, not a problem. I can say about the situation in Croatia. Very simple. Without public subsidies, not a single national scientific journal would be published. It's as simple as that. All the publishers of scientific journals completely depend on the financing by the budget, by the Ministry of Science and Education. And although some of them charge authors, for example, or the institutions for publishing, yet and again they are asking for public money. That's the first. I don't know. You didn't mention it as something that would be situation in Estonia, so I don't know in Lithuania, Estonia, how is it? How it goes? The second situation is the very same as you said. Scientists are choosing journals which are in quartilas. So if you publish your in Croatia, we have a system of tenures. For example, if you want to be a university professor in the field of I don't know what field, in the information sciences, you need certain number of points. If you publish an article or co-publish, there can be 3 authors in a journal which is in first or second quartila in VOS or Scopus, you get 2 points. Like in Eurovision songs, you get 2 points, But if you publish the book, so in the field of social sciences, you get 2,25 points. So one co-published article in first quartila or second quartila is as heavy, let's use this expression, as complete book, So of course people are very practical, and they are choosing the journals which are indexed in VOS, in Scopus, which are in first and second quartila, and these are two main points which I would like to really point out when speaking. So the first one, that the national journals are all subsidized, and the second one, that in choosing the place to publish, scientists are looking for their own benefits to get tenure. Okay.
But Zoran, what is the perspective?
Your question was about the future of scientific journals, and I think that in the future it will be even. It's just informed guess. Of course, we are scientists. We are not fortune tellers, but informed guess would be that it will be even more emphasized in the future because people will get more and more practical. Why do I think so? Because in our university jobs, we are doing more and more administrative job in Croatia, for example. So you have less time for the research and for publishing. And when you do the research, you'll be very, very careful where you are going to publish your research. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Zoran. Maybe you have more ideas.
Zoran, I am very happy to hear you and have very practical question.
Great to see you. Hello.
Yeah, yes. How many points you will get if you publish an article in Knygotyra? Because understanding
In information sciences, it's third quartile, but in the literature it's second quartile.
Yes.
So in information sciences I get 1 point.
Okay.
And in literature so it's philology, they would get 2 points. So it's second quartile in philology, the best possible.
Okay, so it's very crazy situation because now last year all of us who published articles in Knygotyra, we get 8,25 points. So the meaning of a point in every country, European country, publishing the article in the same journal is very different. So it's such a situation.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
But we have again more for monographs. Monographs is a different accounting system.
Well, in Estonia, Knygotyra is in the first category. That is the best.
Nice to hear.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thanks to being refereed in Scopus. That is the decisive moment.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason when they get in Scopus. Also in Croatia, they're counting the first category, but it depends about quartilas in Croatia. Yes. If they are in first 2 quartilas, then you get 2 points for Knygotyra. But if you are in the third quartila, like in because it's different regarding the fields of science. In information science, it's third quartile, so you get only 1 point for the very same research. But that's
yes. Yeah. Well, that's different. We don't have any points. We have to have a certain number of articles in a certain category. Yeah. And so
that was the situation in Croatia before we accepted the new law about the science and university institutions. Then we accepted this point system, which was already used in technical sciences. Now in Croatia, everything is just about points and about the formal rules. There is also one thing that you should be a member of organization or program committee of some international conference, but it's not to list your name in the on the website of the conference. When I was getting my last tenure, then I had to write to Aušra, please give me the written confirmation.
Oh, yes,
you remember that? So everything is very, very formalized, and I would say very, very awful, because it's all about the quantity, not about the quality of the research. But that's the way it is. What can we do? Okay.
If somebody wants to confirmation, we could to write if national regulation is for the conference members. We talk about Knygotyra, and remember that in conference opening I said that we have opportunity to publish articles from this conference if you write to us to gain. If you gain your articles, our secretary of Knygotyra to write a mail from us, for all of us, and to ask about your opportunity to write article. We talk about scientific journal, and we saw a field that is state sector, state journals who's getting a budget from the universities, the institutes, and different fields. But we also saw a commercial side of this this publishing industry. What is the field of the commercial? How they work? Why they is in this publishing industry? situation, maybe you know about Estonia, commercial scientific journals in your country. You know, Eile.
We don't hear you, dear Eile.
Yes, now, now I hopefully you hear me now. Yes, I said that I do not know of the existence of any commercial publisher issuing scholarly journals in Estonia. They all come from the Academy of Sciences, is a publisher, universities, but they all get state subsidies. So there is no independent commercial publisher who publishes science. Probably some scientific books, but no journals.
Sure. Because in Lithuania we have a lot of names and publishers. We haven't not the big size of publishers, but they very productive. They work with East Europe, Asia, and different countries. Scientists.
Okay.
The scientists. All right.
Wow.
Maybe we have a new question about this day's conference topics.
Maybe I would like to tell colleagues about our third section. We had 3 reports. 2 were about the scholarly publications in open science too, and it was very interesting to hear not about Lithuanian situation, but about Serbia too. And the second topic was the use and publishing processes about fanzines. And this topic reflects the changes in society too, not only in scholarly society, but in scientific society, but in youth. And we agreed that these fanzines, the not printed publications, are very similar to the situation between the Second World War. So society is changing, ideas, maybe content is changing, but the possibility to reflect them is the same, and it stays in periodicals. So maybe it's some kind of future, not in kind of material. It's maybe digital or printed, but in possibility and in the form of how to express all your ideas. And when you see it's like periodical, maybe it's a good news.
If you have more questions about how the work was in different our sections, here about third section. We talk about first section. Zoran tell about our section. It was with Nijolė Bliūdžiuvienė. Maybe Nijolė, I want to ask Nijolė Bliūdžiuvienė ask the question: what we must do if you want to have a good statistic in periodical? You show our standards, ISO standards, but well, what we must do technically or methodologically in this field, because Zoran said they also have a problem in supply chain.
Just the microphone, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. And this is a good and hard question. And I think that, first of all, in general, we have to make a statistical program based on strategy and based on stakeholders' discussion. And we have to know what statistical data is useful for our users, what is more value. And this is hard work, preparational work. And after that, I think that step by step we could to have more detailed, more reliable statistics. And in my opinion, this data set of statistics is old-fashioned. So we have to look forward and think about the future.
Thanks, Nione, about vision, how statistics, official statistics wants to, in which field wants to do more than in our times, because in electronic publishing we have a problem that we don't know how deep is this side of the periodical publishing, and not all of the periodical, but and audio books, e-books. I don't know how is the situation in Estonia and Croatia. How is the legal deposit of digital electronic scientific or not scientific journals is collect information? What do you do with this field of electronic publishing? How deposit libraries work with this publishing materials, publishing part, electronic publishing? May I could answer? What is in situation in Estonia is about electronic serials, statistic, legal deposit, state deposit situation. You collect or not collect this part of publishing?
Well, as far as I know, the legal deposit copy includes electronic publications. And so the Estonian National Library, the Center of Statistics, receives these electronic copies. So they are included in the statistics, and there is statistics involves also the electronic publications.
May I ask one question? And how is open access journals? The library took from the site data, articles, or publishers to give to National Library?
Well, the publishers must present the publications to the library. So, but if the library acquires information that there is a publication and comes upon it, but the publisher has not sent it to them, then they take the initiative and contact the publisher and talk about the necessity to send the electronic publication to them also. So the libraries are also doing the detective work, so to say, to find the publications. But also it works on the other way around. The publishers are interested in providing the material for the library, because then they get the bibliographic record and they come to be known by the reading public. The readers can find them.
Thanks. Thanks, Simon.
And I would continue. By my opinion, we do not base only on the deposit copy. This is one source to statistical data to compile with, but by my opinion, we should find new ways to collect data. We have analyzed trends in publishing, do more cooperation with publishers, because only if we based only on deposit copy, we will be very old-fashioned and outside of this statistical data.
Because a lot of publishers is, and they have and sometimes very bad memory, and we must write a lot of letters to talk, and if publisher say no, and what's then who to push that publisher? Library only they collect, not haven't permission to push, and that data is not very good or statistically is for us is not match some new knowledge, because we not collect all existence information within website. How I showed in how was in my presentation, this problem for publishing is changing, but libraries is in all the way collect information. If we have more questions about our first conference day, maybe about digitalization was about this field. I saw it was in program one section about this, but we haven't opportunity to be in two sections at one time. Maybe it's a very I saw about Finland's situation, how maybe someone could to introduce problems about digitalization of our press heritage.
These items were covered in session 2, and we have 2 inspired presentations from Finland, and these presentations brings us to researchers' dreamland, dream space, I should say, because the speakers presented several tools which helps researchers to analyze the content of periodicals and extract data, to do more to clipping data, clearing data, and so on. So this is inspired us too. And in our session as well, we have 2 historical presentations, and one of them about the dissemination of scientific periodicals in Lithuania in the first half of the 19th century. And we talk that till now we haven't clear classification of periodicals. This is a problem too, to have in case of statistics is problem too, to have, because we not defined clearly periodicals, type of periodicals. this is for statistics is bad things too. And the last presentation, another presentation in historical context was about compiling bibliographical indexes on Vilnius periodicals. And this is show how this work was done, and what can be the future of such types of periodicals, such type of bibliographic indexes.
Thanks, Niola, of introduction about your section. This section record also is a record will be put in Faculty of Communication YouTube channel, and we have an opportunity to listen to some what and now what will be our dreams who in Finland live in this dream. If we have more, if you have questions, we may to discuss a bit. If question is over, we could leave this our final discussion, and we will see in tomorrow, Friday, in the second day of our conference. And this day will be about scientific, also about scientific journals, because leaders of this conference is Crossref and Lithuanian Association of Periodical Press, Scientific Periodical Press. And this section is about practicals and theoreticals thing, which is in this field of scientific journal publication. It will be in Friday. Also, record will be in YouTube channel. If you have an opportunity to listen in Friday, you may listen in our channel, YouTube channel. And I want to thank all our participants and moderators and our guests who was in this conference day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yes, Thomas, and I would like to say some words on behalf of the Department of Book Media and Publishing Research. Dear colleagues, you know, this is not the first conference. We're organizing conferences from 1991, and already second generation of researchers are engaged in organizing the conferences. And I would like to use the opportunity to congratulate colleague Tomas Petreikis. This time he is for the first time in the role of the chair of the organizing and program committees. So my congratulations to colleagues and to all of you as speakers, as contributors of papers, as participants of the conference. During several decades, we have created some kind of community of Vilnius Book Science Conference participants, speakers, and just participants. So thank you very much for this. Your scientific behavior let us to do many things and to dream about and plan future conferences. So thank you very much, and we will see tomorrow, meet tomorrow. So thank you for this great day. Thank you.
And Professor for this because my first conference I'm chair in this internet conference, online conference. If we have a problem, I apologize for the technical side. This conference this day, if you have a problems, I apologize. But I don't saw a lot of problems we couldn't, which we couldn't to screen. No.
Everything is okay. Conference is going on, and we have a nice day.
Have a nice day until tomorrow, Friday.
Thank you. Till tomorrow. See you.